If you're adding any additional lights or accessories to your 2018 Plus Honda Goldwing, you need to make sure you're protecting your electrical system.
This video is sponsored by Pathfinder LED.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Cruiseman's Garage. Today we are going to be talking about Pathfinder LED's brand new Isolator and lighting distribution hub. This is their newest product for the Honda Goldwing. Now, for some of you, you may wonder, why do you even need a product like this? The reason is very simple. A Honda Goldwing has a very sophisticated electrical system, uses what's called a CAN bus electrical system. And all of your electronics on the motorcycle are controlled by a computer. So it's not like the old days where you can just patch into an existing wire and hook up an accessory or an extra light. You could seriously damage the electrical system of your motorcycle if you try to do stuff like that on one of these newer 2018 Plus Honda Goldwings. In addition to being a lighting distribution hub, is an isolator. It's isolating the CAN bus electrical system from any of those connections that you're making, so that if you hook up the wrong product or you hook it up the wrong way, it's not going to do damage to your Honda Goldwing. If you're going to add accessories to your motorcycle, you definitely need to have an isolator, and Pathfinder LED is what I've been using for many years. This is their newest product, and this is what I'm going to be using on my 2024 Honda Goldwing. This is a brand new product from Pathfinder LED. It replaces the previous Pathfinder LED power accessory hub. So let's take a closer look at this lighting distribution hub. Basically, this is going to be mounted, behind your gas tank, underneath your seat. What's different is this one has 10 different circuits, 10 for the right side, 10 for the left side of the bike. When you buy or purchase accessories, lighting accessories from Pathfinder LED, you simply plug them into these little ports here. They're plug and play. So everything on this system is plug and play if you have Pathfinder LED products. Now, if you have third-party products, there are adapters that you can get to adapt. Say, for example, these are Gold Strike adapters, so you can connect your plug-and-play Gold Strike products and still use this lighting distribution hub. Pathfinder LED also offers plug-and-play adapters for Kuryakyn products. Now, if you have other products that maybe you've stripped the wires back, say a product that they don't make an adapter for, they do make adapters that just have the bare wires, so you could solder them in or use Wago connectors so that you're still plug and play. Each port is covered with a rubber plug to help the whole system remain weather resistant. The Isolator lighting distribution hub has 10 separate ports for the left and 10 ports for the right side. This allows you to connect up to 10 different lighting products on each side of the bike with plug-and-play convenience. Each one of the ports can provide power for turn signals, brakes, running lights, and of course a ground. The lighting distribution hub also comes with these saddlebag connectors. These go under the seat. They connect directly in line. These are also plug and play. They connect right into your factory harness. This one will be on the left side of the motorcycle, this one on the right side of the motorcycle. These three wires are going to be connected to your battery. The green wire goes to your accessory terminal on your fuse box for a switched connection. This is a fused terminal that goes to your positive side of your battery, and this is the ground that goes to the negative terminal of your battery. On each side of the back of this unit, you have the plug-and-play connector that will connect to these saddlebag connectors. Those go right together. And there's one on each side, one for the left, one for the right, as you can see here. We also have the auxiliary cables coming out of the back. Now this would be comparable to what was included on the Pathfinder accessory hub, the previous version. They did provide these wires. Now you could also use these if you're connecting a trailer harness for a motorcycle trailer. But if you already have a Pathfinder LED power accessory hub, these are the wires that you can use to basically replace that power accessory hub, you can just tie right into these, and they're the same colors. One of the most unique features of this lighting distribution hub is this USB-C port that is included. They include one on each side of this unit. So if you have USB devices that need to be charged, you can run a USB-C cable right into this power distribution hub. There are two USB-C ports, one on the right side of the unit and one on the left. If you currently have a Pathfinder LED power accessory hub or some other brand of isolator, you may wish to upgrade to this newer, more modern version of Pathfinder LED's lighting distribution hub and isolator. And that's what I'm going to be doing in this section. So if you're doing a brand new installation, you don't have an isolator installed right now, you can actually skip this next section. If you currently have a power accessory hub and you're using Wago connectors, it'll be pretty simple. It'll just be plug and play. You'll unplug all of your Wago connectors from this unit, plug them right into the new unit, and you're good to go. Now, as far as the plug and play connectors that connect into the saddlebag connectors back here underneath the seat, we are going to replace these with the ones that come with the new lighting distribution hub and isolator. So I'm retrofitting the entire unit with all new components. Anytime you work on your motorcycle's electrical system, it's always wise to remove the negative or the ground terminal from your battery. We have to do this anyway because we're going to need to remove the ground terminal from the old Pathfinder accessory hub. And of course, we're going to remove the positive as well because we'll need to remove the red power cable from the old power accessory hub. Next, we need to remove the accessory power wire from the fuse box terminal. You'll see here next to your battery is the fuse box, and the very top terminal is the positive terminal, and that's the one where we're going to remove the accessory cable. Now, the accessory cable for the Pathfinder is green. You can ignore the yellow wire. That's for another accessory. As I prepare to remove the old power accessory hub, you'll see I've cut all of the wires to the power accessory hub, and I cut them pretty close to the hub so that I'd have more room to strip back wires if I needed it later on. And you'll also notice in the upper left-hand corner I have disconnected my plug-and-play connectors from the saddlebag connectors underneath the seat. And I should be able to get these out. These are the saddlebag connectors. I'm going to start by installing the saddlebag connectors underneath the seat. You'll locate these on each side of the motorcycle. Simply press down this tab and pull these two halves apart. Okay, this is the right side saddlebag connector. We're going to connect that first. You can see that it's marked R for right. Now let's connect the saddlebag connectors in line with the Honda connectors, and you can kind of shove the rear part back toward the back of the bike underneath the audio unit, and that will give you some space. You don't want sticking up so that when you put your seat back on, you need to make sure you have plenty of space underneath the seat. These only go together one way, so they're pretty obvious how they go together. Now, the part of the harness that has the little plug-and-play connector, the white connector, you want to make sure to route that underneath the round frame rail. You don't want it sitting on top, otherwise when you put your seat back on, it could get in a bind or pinched and could damage the harness. So you want to make sure to kind of fish it like I'm doing underneath that round bar. Now let's connect the one on the left side. It works exactly the same. You just connect it in line to the Honda harness. Now you do get a little bit more space on the left side of the bike to shove that rear connector down and get it out of the way. Once you've plugged it in, same thing, you want to make sure to route the wires that have the little plug-and-play connector. You want to make sure those go underneath that round frame bar we talked about earlier. Our new isolator and lighting distribution hub are going to go down here. I'm going to fish that under, and it's going to go kind of like this. It's going to sit in about the same place as the previous. Should sit right down there behind where the last one was. Here I'm routing all of the power cables, the red power, the black ground, and the green accessory wire underneath the frame so that I can get those tucked away and to come out down near where the battery is. This is the positive that will go on the positive terminal of the battery. This fuse is protecting the internal circuitry. If it is ever blown, do not replace it. Contact Pathfinder LED immediately. This is the ground that will go here on the ground terminal of the battery. And then I've also got the accessory wire. I have a second accessory wire that I'm using for my blind spot monitor. So I've got two things plugged into the accessory terminal on the fuse box. So those are the wires. I'm going to hook these up next.
A few moments later.
Okay, so I got everything hooked up to the battery. I've got the positive for the Pathfinder up here. I've got it kind of the fuse and everything hidden right behind this saddlebag. You don't want it hanging out here because it could interfere with putting on the side cover. This is the ground cable coming from the Pathfinder. These other two cables that look like braided, these are for the Scosche quick disconnect that I have on my bike. If you don't have that, you wouldn't have this connected. Of course, I mentioned earlier, I've got my accessories connected over here, accessory terminal cables. I'll put the fuse box cover back on. Now granted, I've got a lot of junk going on here because I'm using these Wago connectors right now. I am going to come in and clean all this up and put it all back into looms, but for now, you can see how easy it is to hook all this up. I ran my power and ground underneath the frame over here. This is the saddlebag connector here. I just want to remind you, you always run these wires underneath this frame, this bar. You always want to make sure that you don't have any wires hanging over this bar or any parts of this frame here. If they are on top and you put the seat on, those wires could get crimped and they could cause a problem. Down here is not an issue because these all sit underneath the seat. Now let's connect those plug-and-play connectors that go on the left and right side of the bike. You can see I bundled up some of the excess wire there with some zip ties. And you just press these together till they click, and I'm just going to tuck some of that excess wire down next to the frame. Now it's time to connect the left side plug-and-play connector. You can see I bundled up some of that excess wire as well. Just helps keep everything out of the way. Connect it up, and I think we've got everything connected now. So let me show you my final installation. I was able to reconnect everything using Wago connectors. Now I've got them pretty neatly tucked out of the way. For example, this is my ground. I've got the Wago connectors there. I've got one going to the left, one going to the right. I just tucked it back behind here. Same with the running light, since it's a split circuit left and right. And I will tuck that down back behind there somewhere. Now I will come in and clean all this up and get rid of the Wago connectors, but for now, I just wanted to do an install to get this thing all plugged in and working. I've tested it, everything's working. You can see I've got my running or my accessory and my left turn signal cable kind of tucked in over here with Wago connectors. When it comes to plug and play connectors, this is for my left side cowl light, which is a Pathfinder LED product, plug and play. And this is for the right side. I've got it plugged in over here on the right. So that controls my running lights and my turn signals on both the cowl lights. I do want to emphasize that the lighting distribution hub and isolator is designed for lighting and accessories. It is not designed for something like heated riding gear. Heated gear draws a lot of power and should always be connected directly to your battery with a fused connection. So that is my installation currently. You'll notice there's not a lot of Wago connectors floating around out here, even though I did use Wago connectors for everything. Whenever you work on the electronics, it's a good idea to test everything out before you put the bike back together. We turned the ignition on and you can see we do have a green power light on this lighting distribution hub and isolator. Let's take a walk around the bike, make sure everything's working. We'll test out the running lights, the turn signals, the brake lights, everything before we button everything back up. I really like what I'm seeing. Every light I've checked so far looks like it's working. Let's check out the right side turn signals. Yes, those show chrome marker lights are working, so are the cowl lights, as well as those front sequential lights. And of course, we want to make sure all the running lights are working, and they are. Okay, so what are my final thoughts on this new Pathfinder LED lighting distribution hub and isolator? I actually think the installation is easier than it was with the previous power accessory hub because you've got the plug and play capabilities. Especially if you're starting out with a new motorcycle and you haven't added a lot of lighting accessories yet, but you're getting ready to or you're planning to. Most of these products now come with some form of plug and play connector, and Pathfinder LED has figured out a way to accommodate you regardless of the brand you buy. And of course, if you purchase Pathfinder LED lighting products, the plug and play connectors come automatically. But even if you need to adapt Gold Strike or Kuryakin or even any other brand, like I have some show chrome lights, you can simply use the little patch, universal patch cables to get the plug and play connectors. So installation, I think, is much, much easier than it was previously. I think from the installation standpoint, it's a winner. Now, as far as the expandability, you can have up to 10 different lighting products. I think that's more than enough for most people. If I had a new motorcycle, I wouldn't even mess with wiring. I would just use plug and play and use this new system, and it'd be a breeze. I do like the design of the unit. It fits very nicely under the seat. That's a cramped area anyway, but I think Pathfinder LED did a very good job of designing it and making it fit so nicely underneath the seat. I especially like the addition of the USB power ports. There's a lot of devices now that use USB-C, and it'd be very easy to run a USB-C cable from underneath your seat up to your left handlebar or even off to the left side of the bike if you needed to charge something there, say a cell phone or some other, maybe an action camera, something like that. So they very thoughtfully added 2 USB-C ports, one on each side of this lighting distribution hub, and I think that's a real advantage. Nobody else that I know of in the industry has anything like that. Now, many of you know that I've had a long history with Pathfinder LED. I've used their products for years. I've really never had any serious issues. If there has been an issue, and it was years ago, they've always taken care of it. But they're a reliable company. They've been building and manufacturing and providing Goldwing electrical products for a long time. They've got a lot of experience. I trust the company. I know the people behind the company, and I've always felt very comfortable recommending Pathfinder LED to my viewers and my friends. Now, if you have any questions about the Pathfinder LED lighting distribution hub and isolator, please put it in the comment section down below. I will also include links in the description of this video where you can order this lighting distribution hub and isolator. It'll take you right to that page if you're interested. I am not a Pathfinder LED affiliate, so I don't get any commission from this. I just want to make it easy for you to order this should you decide to do so. I want to thank Pathfinder LED for sending this to me to test and review, and I'm very happy to have it on my 2024 Goldwing, and I look forward to adding more plug and play accessories as time goes on. I want to thank you for watching the video today, and if you got some value from the video, do me a favor, please give it a thumbs up. That really does help my YouTube rankings. And if you got some value from the video, let me know in the comments down below. And until the next Cruiseman's review, remember what I always say, ride often, but ride safe.